Everybody wants to play big time college football, but is big time college football for you? We'll talk about it today on the Gridiron Studs Show. Hey, I'm talking to you. Recruiting advice for everyone. It's the Gridiron Studs Show. Big time college football. Everyone wants to play it. It's a dream to grow up and play for the college football programs you've been seeing on Saturday every day since you've been growing up. But that might not be the best place for you to go now that you're an adult trying to make an adult decision. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video today. If you really love ball, sometimes you just have to go small. And what's your end goal in mind? That's what you need to figure out. And that's what's going to lead you to making the right decision about your college football future. Now, I know everyone has dreams, and I'm not here to crush anyone's dreams. That's not what we're here. What we're trying to do is have you reach your ultimate goal. And if your ultimate goal is trying to have a good college football experience and have a shot at the NFL, then big time college football is not going to be the path for everyone. There are a million of high school football players every year, and I'm sure all of them would love to land at Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, or any of the big programs that are out there in their region. Sure, it would be great, but those schools cannot house a million players every year that want to get there. So some people are going to be able to make it, others not so much. One thing you got to really look at are the measurables. Do you really fit up to the measurables of the guys that are playing there now and guys that they're trying to recruit? Is that where you belong? Because here's the problem that a lot of guys run into. They go comparing themselves to their peers. It's a normal thing to do when you're a teenager. You want what the guy next to you has. But what you need to remember is that everyone grows at different rates. If you think back to youth football and your little league football teams, you had guys on there that were absolute monsters. Maybe they played on your team or you played against them. Suddenly you went to high school and those guys weren't really around playing like that anymore. They weren't as successful. Some even end up quitting the game. What happened there was their people grow at different rates. That young player was growing at a different rate. He grew faster than you. He ended up being a star at that level while you had to wait and you weren't quite as big of a star. Didn't it feel good that you stayed in it and you were able to continue to progress and now you're in high school with someone that is able to be looked at as a college football prospect? That other person that was big time in youth football was wishing the same. This same thing may happen to you now that you're going to the college football level. You can't take a look at the guy next to you or a guy that you've played against and say, well, that guy's going to big time college football. He's just going to be better than me. Think if you would have thought that youth going to high school. That's not necessarily the case. It may just be that that player is a little further along, more developed than you right now. And so the opportunity to go to that big time college football program is there for him and not necessarily for you. The fact that he's going to that big time college football program doesn't necessarily mean that that individual is going to be successful at it. So you can't go around comparing yourself to the next guy. What's important is that you focus on you, where you are in your development, and exactly what it is that you need. The other thing you have to consider is that college football programs have to ask this very important question about everyone that they recruit. Does this player I'm recruiting really love football? And when they're looking at you in your recruiting process, they have to determine, is this person playing football just for the notoriety? You guys have all known someone on your high school football team that was on there just to get the jersey. When you run around saying big time Power 5 football or bust, you start to look like that guy. Maybe you're just in it for the notoriety. If you really loved football, football is football. So a smaller school plays football, right? So you may want to give them a chance. You can't just be out there just for the notoriety, because I've got to let you know something. Whether it's big time college football or it's at a smaller school, college football is not all glamorous. It's going to be a lot harder than it was in high school. They're going to ask a lot more of you. And as a matter of fact, the bigger time you go in college football, the higher the level, the Power 5, where there's a lot of pressure, you're being seen on TV every week, and the college coaches make millions of dollars and people expect wins, the harder things are going to be. The more they're going to need to get out of you. And is that the best fit? You may say in your mind, yeah, well, the next guy did it. Why not me? Again, do you fit into that program? And is that program going to invest in you like you want to invest in them? Because I've got to tell you, 5 a.m. waits can be tough. Sitting around and doing all of those practices week after week, and you're third and fourth on the depth chart, is going to end up being pretty tough. And if that college football coach doesn't think that you love football, then it's going to be safe to say that he's going to think you're going to probably wig out on that part of it too. He has to be sure that you're going to hang in there when all of these things start coming at you and you're not necessarily playing. Wouldn't it be great to go to a smaller college football program and putting in all that time, whether it's the 5 a.m. weights or the long grueling practices, and have a legitimate opportunity to play? I would think so. So let's find the best fit for you. And again, football is football. And if your end goal is to play in the NFL, I'm here to tell you that those NFL scouts will go to colleges any and everywhere. It's a little bit more different than it is in the high school level. There's just so many high schools and there's just not enough scouting availability for them to go out and hit every high school that's out there. That's not the case when it comes down to the NFL and going to colleges. NFL have enough personnel to hit all of the colleges out there. So if you're a baller, whether that's at a small Division III school or a FCS school or a Division II school and even an NAIA school, they're going to find you because it's their job to find you any and everywhere. So if it's all about development and you really love playing football, it makes sense for you to go to a smaller school if the bigger schools are not really, quote unquote, feeling you like that. There's nothing wrong with playing smaller college football. Again, you're supposed to love it, right? And the biggest thing for you is developing. What really matters here is self-improvement. And what you want to do is put yourself in an environment where you're going to have the opportunity to do that. So you want to go in there and become a smarter football player, a bigger football player, a faster football player. You want to be able to be in the opportunity where that's going to be able to happen to you, and then it's going to translate into you getting on the field and showing some results. Hey, look at it this way. You may be undersized or you may not be fast enough, and you're asking these big time schools to put the time and the investment into you because you say you will do that for them. Well, how about you do that for the undersized school who does not have maybe as big as a weight room or as big as a crowd at this stadium? The same way you want one of these schools to give you an opportunity because you lack the size. How about you turn around and give that same opportunity to a smaller school that doesn't, again, have a big stadium or have as big a weight room as some of the top upper echelon? The time and investment that you're willing to put in with them is the same time and investment they'd be willing to put into you. And when those two things can come together, you have an opportunity to develop to be the best football player that you can be. Not only that, you can become the best student athlete that you were intended to be. Because when things are going right for you in the field, chances are they're going pretty well for you in the classroom as well. And if things are falling down or you need help in that particular area, we're talking about academics, a school that is hell-bent on trying to get you into their program and is really going to cherish you, will do everything that they can to get you academically eligible or get you to the top of your game in terms of academics because they need you out there on that football field. So you use them for what they need and they're going to use you for what they're going to need. And those two things coming together, again, is a benefit to you. You're going to be the best football player and student that you're going to be, and they're going to get that same person out on the gridiron, helping them to win games and up their season win total and keep their jobs. So if they're going to put the time and investment into you, and they're showing you that they will do that over some of these other big time programs, it only makes sense for you to turn around and put that same investment into them. I'm sure the most dominant defensive tackle in the pro football game right now, Aaron Donald, would have loved to have gone to a big time school like Texas, USC, University of Miami, Florida, Ohio State of Michigan, or something like that coming out of high school. He was not able to. Those schools did not go for him because he was an undersized defensive tackle, the same way that he is right now. Well, what was Donald's response? He didn't go force himself onto those rosters. He didn't go crying about it. He took the motivation, went to school like Pitt, who's also Power 5 football, but not quite on the level of some of the schools I just named. Pitt showed that they would put the time and money and effort into Aaron Donald. He turned around and did the same. And what we have now is the most dominant defensive tackle in the game of football. He put the time and effort in, the school put the time and effort in, and when those two things come together, it's really hard to stop someone from being great. Same goes for last year's Rookie of the Year, Darius Leonard. He wanted to go to Clemson. Heck, His two brothers went there and played football for the Clemson Tigers. He was from the state of South Carolina. Again, he was an undersized player, 190-pound linebacker coming out of high school. He made the decision to go to South Carolina State, not the marquee college football program in the state of South Carolina. But he went there because they said they would put the time and effort into Darius Leonard, and Darius Leonard put the time and effort into becoming the best football player that he could be. When those two things came together, what you have now is one of the more dominant linebackers in the game, good enough to win Rookie of the Year last year and lead the Indianapolis Colts defense to one of the best seasons out there for any pro football team. So I'm telling you right now, don't compare yourself to other players that you're playing against or playing with. Don't sit there looking like, hey, guys on my team are going to these big time programs. How can I sit up on those stage and signing day and go sign with some FCS or Division II or Division III school? It's not about where you are right now. It's about self-improvement, continuing to get yourself better and better so you can get to that end goal. So if it's playing NFL football and or enjoying your college football experience, you owe it to yourself to give the smaller school a try. So if that small school coach is calling you, he's reaching out to you in DMs, answer those calls, begin a dialogue, talk to them about how they see you, how they want to invest in you, how they personally want to make you better, as opposed to forcing yourself into one of these big time programs that's just going to see you as a number. You're going to be a blocking and tackling dummy and just another person that went through the program. If a place wants you, you owe it to yourself to give them a little bit of attention, or if a lot of attention, let's say, and seriously think about playing for them. If they're going to invest in you, you invest in them. And again, when those two things come together, it's very hard for a person not to reach their potential. So, hey, if you're listening right now and you're a high school football prospect, or you're a guy that played high school football and wanted to play college football, go ahead and put in the comments section the school you most wanted to get an offer from when you were playing high school football. Go ahead and drop that comment right now. Also, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so that you can be notified every time I put out a college football recruiting video, and you'll be notified right away. You can get on here and watch it and learn a little something, and we can continue to build a community here. So go ahead and subscribe, like, and drop that comment. Also, be sure to share this video. Perhaps there's someone that needs to hear this message. If you really love ball, you'll go play small. Finally, if you haven't had a chance to yet, go download the GridironStuds recruiting app. If you're a high school or college football prospect, you owe it to yourself to get on there, create a profile, put your highlight video as well as pictures, and keep the recruiting status updated, keep your profile updated. We've got several college football coaches using the highlight videos and using the app right now to go through and find prospects so that they can recruit them and put them on their college football roster. So why not be seen? Get yourself on there right now. I will have a link in the description for you. Hit that link, available for Android as well as iPhone. So hit that link, become a prospect on the GridironStuds recruiting app right now. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, it's the Gridiron Studs Show. I'm Chad Wilson.